Hey, how's it going? So I finally put up this Logic Lights game. I've been wanting to do this for a little while, but now that it's out there, I thought I'd put together a video that showed you exactly how to play the game. So the game has a tutorial in it. I've put in a tutorial, but there's really nothing like seeing somebody actually do something to figure out how something works. It's still a little bit rough. There are a few things that I've noticed that people want to do a lot that I haven't added in as functionality. I'll be trying to get to that a little bit later, but right now I they're not in there. So I'm just going to show you how the Logic game works. The Logic Lights game works right now. So normally you just run it, and you'd get this login screen here. The login screen, you just type your name and go. It's going to remember puzzles you've tried, and the ones that you've completed, you get the little yellow dot, and if you haven't completed it, you get that open circle there. I'm going to try this one 0 because that one's not in the tutorial. It's the only one switch game that's not in the tutorial. The numbers here are 1 switch, 2 switch, 3 switch, 4, and so since that's the only one that's not in the tutorial, I'll go ahead and do that here, and that'll show you how a lot of these things work. Just click right here where it says tutorial for the tutorial. For all these other levels, you get random. There are 340 puzzles in total. So even if you watch me do this and copy, you've got plenty of others. You've got 339 to work through. And by the time you get done with that, probably I'll put together the next set, which has many, many more than 300 puzzles. All right. So I need to do something with this trash can because it's just a rectangle. This is a switch, the thing with an A on it. You notice it's got it's only illuminated when it's in the right-hand position. That means it's sending out a voltage, or it's sending out it's true. This is false, true, false, and this is the light switch. You'll also notice that the light switch doesn't go on ever. So since this light doesn't go on, I'm trying to set up a wiring diagram that connects from here to here without ever going on. And to do that, I have to say that there's really only one way to do that. If I just connect these two things with a wire, click and drag gives you the wire. You see the two. The A turns on or the light turns on when the A is illuminated, and it's off when the A is not. If I want to get rid of this right now, I have to go all the way down here and throw one end of the wire in the trash can. Now I could say not A, but not A. This is a logical statement. So when A is not on, this is true. When A is on, this is false, and so it's not illuminated. So that doesn't work. Basically, to do this, what I want is to have both A and not A wired up. So I put the not A onto the AND gate. The AND gate needs 2 inputs. The other one is the A, so I drag from the AND gate to the switch. That's what I'm going to do. I'll show you that it doesn't work this way. This way, you'll just take a hold of the end, and it'll assume that you want to get somewhere else. So if you have a terminal that's already wired, you cannot create a new wire by clicking on it. So you have to take an unwired terminal and drag that in. So now I've got both the A and the not A. That's never true. So when I wire this guy to here, or wire this way, whichever one you want to do, they both work. I win the game. Okay, so that's about it. It seems to me that doesn't show you everything you might want to see. So let's try 14. I don't know what 14 is. So here you see that you've got the light is on when both A and B are on. When only A is on, it's also on. When A and B are off, it's off, and when B is on, it is on as well. So B is on, A, B is on, A on. So that's actually one of the tutorial ones. I'm not going to show you how to match it, but what you're trying to do is you're trying to match so that the yellow lights have the same behavior as the red lights. So here, if I draw this here, whenever A is on, that's on. Whenever A is off, it's off. But you want the red and the yellow lights to match, right? So to do that, you have to do something. But I'm not actually going to show you how to do that because, again, this is in the tutorial. So I'm going to pretend that this is way too hard for me and I just want to quit. If I want to quit this, I retire, and then I come back here. So you see I've retired, so I get the empty dot here. Just like when I won Puzzle 0, I got the closed dot here. I think that's probably sufficient for figuring out how to do things. So the game's already saved at this point, so it has all of my data in there. I could just click out if I wanted to, but I could also just log out at this point and say somebody else wanted to play. So maybe O'Neill wants to play, right? And then O'Neill has a fresh set of these things. He could choose a random puzzle. He doesn't know how to play. He chooses the tutorial, and you see I've got these little clickable things, and they tell you pretty much what you're supposed to be doing at one point and at another point, and so forth and so on. But I won't show you how to do that because, I mean, why do you want me to work through the tutorial for you? You really, if you actually understood everything I've said, which I don't, considering I'm just talking, I doubt it because, I'm just talking, then you don't even need the tutorial. It's not really that difficult. So all you have to do is figure out the behavior of these three things. So you have a single terminal, two terminal, we've got this is two terminal, one in, one out, three terminal, three terminal. One terminal devices are the switches and the lights, right? And like I said, you can have up to 4 of those lights. Just randomly choose here. So we've got 4, and I start clicking around and I start looking for whatever patterns are going to light this thing up. And I don't really know which ones will until I actually play with it. And then I figure out what sort of combinations of these things I need. Right, this is an OR gate, for example. Then maybe I need an AND gate. And maybe there's a NOT there. And so forth and so on. So just keep on playing around with it until you get the answer. Actually, for most of the ones with 2 gates, you can just play around. For all the ones with two switches, you can just play around with it and figure things out. For most of the ones with 3, I think you probably can do the same. By the time you're getting up to 4, you probably ought to be thinking about what's going on before you start throwing things at the screen. Just saying. It's up to you. Maybe you don't need to do that. Maybe you can figure them all out just by sort of thinking about it in your heads. If you can, that is awesome, and best of luck to you. All right? See you around. Bye now.